Hello everyone. In this session, we will explore how inventory replenishment supports internal stock transfers between warehouses. The aim is to understand how organizations maintain optimal stock levels across locations. Let's begin with a quick overview of today's agenda. We'll walk through the process of generating a replenish report and how it leads to a material transfer within the organization. This ensures that stock is balanced across locations based on demand and availability. Now, moving on to the objectives of this session. The objective of this session is to enable you to understand the replenish report to material transfer process and its associated terms in the context of business processes. Additionally, it also enables you to test the replenishable to material transfer process in the context of business requirements. Now, let's take a quick look at the prerequisites. Before we begin working with replenishment in Onfinity, make sure you have access to the platform with a valid user ID and password. In addition, Onfinity Basic Setup and Master Data Setup configurations must be completed and available. Now, let's review the replenish report to material transfer process use case. This will help you better understand the process. So let's explore a real-world example for clearer understanding. In this scenario, Sonic Ventures operates multiple stores across the country and manages a large inventory of products like smartphones, laptops, and accessories. To ensure smooth operations and meet customer demands, Sonic Ventures set replenish rules to manage its stock efficiently. The reorder minimum stock level for wireless Bluetooth earbuds is set at 50 units for Sonic Ventures Mohali warehouse. The system monitors real-time quantities to ensure this limit should be maintained. When sales surge and stock levels drop below the minimum level of 50 units, the inventory manager processes a replenishment report. Once the inventory manager processes the replenish report, it identifies that Sonic Ventures Mohali warehouse has only 20 units left, which is below the minimum reorder level of 50 units. The report recommends ordering 30 units for Sonic Ventures Mohali warehouse to ensure stock is replenished adequately without risking stockouts. The warehouse manager at Sonic Ventures identifies the need for the transfer based on the inventory analysis and creates a material transfer. This process not only ensures that the Mohali warehouse can continue meeting customer demand without interruption, but also optimizes stock distribution across the organization. By using replenishment rules and material transfers, Sonic Ventures avoids stockouts, maintains service quality, and reduces the risk of overstocking at certain locations. Now, let's look at the replenish report to material transfer process flowchart. This flowchart illustrates how the replenish report to material transfer process proceeds in Onfinity. The process begins with setting up the replenishment rules. These rules define the minimum and maximum stock levels for each product at a given warehouse, ensuring that the system can monitor inventory against these thresholds in real time. Once the rules are in place, the next step is to generate the replenishment report. The inventory manager runs this report to identify products that have fallen below their reorder levels. This helps in proactively addressing shortages before they impact sales or operations. From here, the system highlights the recommended replenishment quantities for the identified products. Based on this information, the warehouse manager or inventory manager can then initiate a material transfer from a warehouse with sufficient stock to the warehouse in need. This internal stock movement ensures that inventory is balanced across warehouses, supporting continuous availability of products and preventing both stockouts and overstocking situations. Now let's know the basic master involved in the replenish report to material transfer process. To record a replenish report to material transfer process, there are some basic masters which must be available in the system. These include the warehouse with a replenishment rule, the product, an attribute set instance if required, and the unit of measure, abbreviated UOM. This concludes the conceptual foundation for the replenish report to material transfer process. By now, you should have a clear understanding of how the process works and the situations in which it should be applied. With this knowledge, you are well prepared to proceed to the step-by-step walkthrough in Onfinity. Let's now move into Onfinity and go through the procedure step by step. Now, we are on the Onfinity login page. Enter your user identification, type your password, and then click Login to access the system. Once you log in, you will land on the Onfinity homepage. Here, you will find various mosaics, each displaying information from current transaction records to support business analysis. You can customize the homepage by adding the mosaics relevant to your role based on the modules enabled in the system. If you see any default mosaics that are not relevant to you, there is no need for concern, as they can be edited or rearranged according to your requirements. To customize your homepage, simply click on the Mosaic section. You can rearrange mosaics by selecting and dragging them to your preferred location. If you want to add a specific mosaic available from your modules, just click and drag it onto the homepage. For now, let's close this section. To initiate the process, we first need to define replenishment rules in the warehouse, as these form the basis for creating a material transfer. To access the warehouse, go to the menu and search Warehouse Structure using the menu search utility, or navigate through Master Data Management. Under the Product Management module, you will find the Warehouse Structure screen. Here, we have the available warehouses for Sonic Venture. These warehouses are filtered based on the login details, where a filter for the Sonic Venture organization is applied. As a result, you will only see warehouses associated with Sonic Venture. To view a warehouse record in Single Record View for more detail, click on the warehouse name hyperlink. If we want to use the same source warehouse for all available products, we can define it directly in the warehouse header. Alternatively, we can assign a source warehouse specific to each product on the Set Replenishment Rule tab as needed. To do this, click on the Set Replenishment Rule tab button to navigate to the Replenishment Rule tab. Here, we already have some replenish rules created. As we have already used these defined items and fulfilled the stock in the warehouse through Replenish Report to Requisition and Replenish Report to Purchase Order, covered in their respective sessions under Procurement Management, these items will not currently appear in the Replenish Report. Once the stock levels drop again, the same rules will reappear in the report. For now, to add a new rule, click New Record. This will open the tab in Single Record View. Select the source warehouse from which the items will be supplied to our warehouse. Here, we are selecting Sonic Venture's warehouse as the source warehouse. Next, we need to select the product. For instance, we will use Realme Q2 earbuds. If there are any attributes available, you can select the appropriate value in the Attribute Set instance field. You may choose an existing record if there is any exiting attribute available with the product. We can select the Attribute Set instance here. In this case, we can see that one locator has 20 quantities available and another has 280 quantities available. This also helps us verify the quantity at the time of defining the attribute. After selecting the attribute, click OK. Once selected, the value will be displayed. Click OK again to confirm the attribute. Then select the appropriate replenishment type. For now, we will proceed with Reorder Minimum Level. Next, enter the minimum stock level that needs to be maintained. Here in Minimum Level field, we will set the minimum level as 50 units. After entering all the required details, save the record. We are skipping minimum order quantity and order pack quantity for now, since this process involves internal movement and these fields are not required. However, based on business needs, you can define them as well. The minimum order quantity specifies the smallest quantity that can be procured in a single order. The order pack quantity indicates that replenishment will be processed in full packs rather than individual units. Now, with this replenishment rule defined, let's proceed to the Replenish Report. We can search Replenish Report using the menu search utility or navigate through the Material Management module. Under this module, go to Reports, where you will find the Replenish Report. Once opened, the Replenish Report appears with the same options we have understood in previous sessions. where it was used to create requisitions and purchase orders. In the Choose Report Type field, you can select how you want the report output to appear: CSV, PDF, or leave it on the default selection. Next, in the Warehouse field, select the specific warehouse for which you want to run the replenishment report. This should be the warehouse where the replenishment rules have been defined. In the Create field, you decide the action to take based on this report. Select Inventory Move to generate material transfer transactions. Alternatively, the Purchase Order option is used to create purchase order transactions, and Requisition is used to create requisitions. Next, we have the Document Type field. The available document types depend on the selection made in the Create field. Only document types relevant to the specific transaction will appear here, especially when processing transactions directly from the report. To review the items that need to be transferred, we will skip selecting the document type for now. The Vendor field is primarily used when creating a purchase order. If you want to specify which products to include, select the current vendor associated with those products. This is particularly important when multiple products are up for replenishment. Next, we have the Document Status field, which determines the status of the created transaction. Finally, there is the Order Pack Quantity checkbox. Mark Order Pack Quantity checkbox true if you want the system to consider the configured pack quantity instead of the exact quantity to procure. Once all selections are complete, click OK to generate the report. The report will display the products that need to be replenished, along with all relevant details related to the replenishment setup for each product. This includes the product name, the attribute set instance associated with the product, the warehouse, and the source warehouse. Next, you will see the replenishment type, followed by the maximum and minimum levels that have been set. The available on-hand quantity is displayed, along with the order quantity. The order quantity reflects any purchase orders currently present in the system for this warehouse. Similarly, the requisition order quantity if there is any available requisition of product where the warehouse is used as requester warehouse. Next, we have the quantity reserved field. This represents the quantity reserved specifically for sales orders. The reserved quantity is deducted from the available quantities, and this order quantity is also included in the calculation, acting as additional stock in the warehouse. It is added to the available on-hand quantity. The quantity to order indicates the amount that will be considered for replenishment process. Following that, you will see the requisition reserved quantity, which reflects quantities reserved against requisitions. For material transfer, we have two document types: material movement and material movement with confirmation. The confirmation type is used for transactions that require confirmation, which we have already covered in previous sessions. For now, we will proceed with material movement, which does not require confirmation. In the document status field, we can control the status of the transaction. Let's select completed, so the transaction will be recorded as completed. One important point to keep in mind is that the quantity you plan to move from the source warehouse must be available. If the stock is insufficient, the replenish report will not create the material transfer document. To proceed with the material transfer, simply click OK, and the record will be successfully created. From the report, under Generated Document Information, you can check the document number. To verify this, navigate to the Material Transfer screen, which is located under Material Management, within it under Storage Operations. You will arrive at the landing page of Material Transfer, where you can use the mosaics to filter and view records by clicking on the hyperlinks. Here, you will see the pending transfers and expected transfers mosaics. These are used to create material transfers based on available requisitions. In the expected transfers mosaic, you will see all requisitions whose required date is either today or in the future. In the pending transfers mosaic, you will find requisitions whose required date has already passed. Next, we have a few charts on the material transfer screen. One of these charts, Top 10 Highest Stock Products, displays the products with the highest stock levels in the warehouse, allowing you to analyze inventory distribution. Another chart, Top 10 Product Movement, shows the top 10 products that have been used in material transfers. We have just created a material transfer using the Replenish report. We can use the Today Material Transfer Advanced Search Mosaic to filter and locate our created document. By clicking on the document number hyperlink, we can open the record in Single Record. Here, all details are displayed, including the organization, document type, from warehouse, which is the source warehouse, and the to warehouse, which is populated directly from the replenishment process. In addition, you will notice other available fields and buttons, such as the e-way bill number and generate e-way bill. These are specific to the e-invoicing module and are not part of the standard material transfer process. They will be understood in detail in the dedicated session for e-way bill and e-invoicing, which is not configured in this setup. You can also verify your product in the composite view under the Line tab of the Material Transfer, where all transferred items and their quantities are displayed. This concludes the material transfer process in Onfinity, as carried out using the Replenish report. By following this process, you can ensure that inventory levels are maintained across warehouses, stock shortages are prevented, and internal stock movements are accurately recorded. With this knowledge, you are now prepared to efficiently generate replenishment reports, create material transfers, and monitor inventory movement within Onfinity. Thank you for attending. We hope it has provided you with a clear understanding of the Replenish report to material transfer process in Onfinity. If you have any questions or need further assistance, please feel free to reach out.